You've probably seen it yourself. A beautiful, historic church, maybe one that's been around for 100 years, and right out front, a for sale sign. Well, this isn't just a one-off thing. We're talking about thousands of churches closing every single year. So today, we're going to dig into why this is happening and what it tells us about the massive shifts going on in America right now.
Just look at that number, somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 a year. And remember, each one of those isn't just a building. It's a community, a piece of local history, a gathering place, just gone. This is happening all over the country, and it's literally reshaping our towns and cities. So let's figure out what's really driving this. So yeah, what is going on? Is this just about money? Or is it something deeper, like a crisis of faith? Or are we actually witnessing a fundamental change in the American identity itself?
Okay, so first up, let's focus on what's right there in front of us. That for sale sign. To really get the big picture, we have to start by asking, who's getting hit the hardest by all these closures?
And here's the thing, this isn't happening to everyone in the same way. The trend is hitting mainline Protestant churches the hardest. We're talking about denominations like the Methodists, Lutherans, and Presbyterians. The Catholic Church is also seeing some consolidation for sure, but these older, long-established Protestant churches, they are right at the epicenter of this whole thing.
Okay, so that for sale sign, that's the end of the story for a congregation. But how do they even get to that point? To figure that out, we've got to step inside the walls and look at the immediate pressures that force these doors to close for good.
And what you're looking at here, it's basically a vicious cycle. The congregations are getting older, which means you have fewer active members to donate money, to volunteer their time, or to step up into leadership roles. And at the exact same time, the cost of just keeping the lights on and maintaining these beautiful but often very old buildings just keep going up and up. It's a perfect financial storm that, for many, eventually just becomes impossible to survive.
Now I know what some of you are probably thinking. Hang on, I see new churches popping up all the time. And you're not wrong. You see these modern church plants in suburbs and cities, so is this just a case of the old getting replaced by the new?
Well, when you look at the actual numbers, there's a huge widening gap. The speed at which these older, established denominations are closing is way faster than the growth of new, often non-denominational churches. They're also totally different kinds of institutions, usually serving very different communities. So no, it's not a simple one-for-one swap. Not even close.
But here's the thing. All those internal problems, they're just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. They're being supercharged by a seismic cultural shift that's happening outside the church, a fundamental change in how Americans think about religion itself, and it's reshaping the entire country.
Take a look at this. This is the new religious map of America. And yeah, Christianity is still the majority faith, but just look at that massive slice of the pie. Almost 1 out of every 3 adults in America is now religiously unaffiliated. That group is bigger than evangelicals, and it's bigger than Catholics. It's huge.
Just let that sink in for a second. The fastest growing religious identity in America isn't a religion. It's the lack of one. These are the knowns, and the rapid rise is, without a doubt, the single biggest story in American faith today.
So who are these knowns? Well, it's probably not who you think. Only a small fraction actually identify as atheist or agnostic. The overwhelming majority, they just pick nothing in particular. So for most, this isn't some aggressive rejection of God. It's more of a quiet, widespread drifting away from organized religion as an institution.
Okay, but this big national trend, it's not happening everywhere the same way, not even close. If you were to draw a religious map of America today, you'd find that where you live is actually a powerful predictor of what you believe.
And to really get this geographic split, you have to understand a key idea, the Bible Belt. This isn't just a nickname. It refers to a whole region in the South, where socially conservative evangelical Protestantism isn't just a faith, it's woven into the very fabric of daily life, culture, and politics.
I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's staggering. In a state like Alabama, more than half the people say religion is very important and pray every single day. Now, compare that to a state like Vermont, where those numbers are way down, below 29%. These aren't minor differences. We're talking about 2 fundamentally different worlds, 2 different approaches to faith coexisting in the same country.
So what we're left with is the kind of religiously segmented America. The South and parts of the Midwest are still these strongholds of traditional faith, while the coast and the North are becoming more and more secular. This geographic divide is now one of the defining features of the country's spiritual landscape.
All right, let's pull all these threads together now and see the whole picture.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it, right? We started with a simple local story, a single church putting up a for sale sign. From there, we uncovered the internal pressures, from aging congregations to leaky roofs. That led us to the massive national story, the rise of the nuns. And finally, we saw how it all plays out across these deep regional divides. It's all connected.
And really, at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. The landscape of Christian institutions in the U.S. is going through a significant transformation and contraction. This isn't just about empty pews or old buildings. It's a fundamental reshaping of an institution that has been at the very center of American life for centuries.
You know, for generations, the local church wasn't just a place to worship on Sunday. It was the community center. It was a social hub. It was part of people's identity. As that role shrinks, it leaves a huge void. So the big, and I mean really crucial question we're left with is this: what's going to take its place? What new institutions are going to shape American communities in the century to come?